Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a T110E4. It's an American Tier 10 turreted tank destroyer. It's located on the north spawn of Malinovka and it's under the command of entilzhar. And I'm afraid this is another battle exhibiting what we would call trolling. Yep, you might switch off team damage, but you can't stop people behaving like children. And the children in this game are the pair of T30s and the M48 Patton. There's the Patton. He's in the bush already, ready to shoot at the enemy. But if we follow what happens, look what the T30 does. He comes along, Tank Queen ER, and pushes the M48 Patton out of the bush. And his friend, Pillemann, comes up alongside him. Now both T30s are on the same platoon and they're both shooting at the enemy at the moment. Entilzhar's got the other bush and the Patton tank, well, he's being shoved out of position. He doesn't particularly like it. He is a tier 10 after all, these are tier 9s. But they're determined to have that bush and that rock for cover. And so they're shoving him away, so they're acting like trolls. They're saying, this is our rock, go away. And what the Patton should be doing right now is pulling away and going to a different place to fight, because obviously these pair of idiots are determined to take possession of it, and whilst he's there, he's not able to help his team at all. What he should be doing is going up the hill to play with the other teammates up there. At least he might get some more sense. But all he's doing by continuing to push and shove these tanks is make sure that the team will lose. Well, what the Patton's doing now is he's occupying the space behind the rock, and that means it's very difficult for entilzhar, because if he wants to retreat behind the rock, he's not going to be able to, because there's somebody occupying the spot. And that's another way that somebody can be team killed in this game, because they can be pushed out in front of the enemy without the ability to retreat, and that will cause them to die. And both T30s are not actually doing anything at the moment. They're not shooting at the enemy, and yet there are enemies in sight. There's a Type 61 to the south, a Centurion Action 10, and up on the heights, or the lookout at F7, there's an IS-7. But are they doing anything? No. And there are plenty of enemy up on the hill, so they could be fighting there. The STB-1 has made his way all the way down into the south, and right this minute, these T-30s could be a real help to that STB-1. But are they helping? No. Or is the Patton helping? No. All they're doing is trolling each other. Now I get the feeling that what's actually going on here is these are children and they're fighting it out for possession of a rock. And I also have the feeling that entilzhar is kind of fed up with this, and that's why he's decided to get engaged as well. He's really fed up with this. They're not fighting. Now really he shouldn't be doing this. What you can say though is that entilzhar does have some damage on the enemy, and that IS-7 is now dead. But what we can also say is the enemy looks like they're going to overrun our forces on top of the hill, and up on top of the hill is entilzhar's platoon mate, and I don't think he's going to be up there for very much longer, and the trolling is continuing. And entilzhar's saying, I'm not having anything of this. I'm not having anything to do with this at all. I'm an adult, they're children. I'm going to move away and fire somewhere else. So he's gone into the ground depression behind this area, behind the cap. And it looks like he's going to move into a position further away so he can shoot at the enemy. And that's the adult thing to do. Well, it looks like Geordie Tanker in the Wizzy 1115A has survived the mauling on top of the hill, but I'm not sure for how much longer because he's only got 48 hit points. Oh, I spoke too soon. The Conqueror on the enemy team's just wiped him out. But as you can see, entilzhar's trying to get into a position so he can shoot at the enemy. Now, the unfortunate thing about the T110E4 is the turret won't turn the whole way round. So he has to try and engage enemies he can spot, and he got a shot into that E75. And it's a fairly big shot for 731. He's got the 155mm gun, which is 750 alpha. Quite a long reload as well, but shorter than some tanks. Oh, there's a Progetto 65 out there, and he's got 4 shots in his auto reloader, so he doesn't really want to get hit by that tank if he can help it. And moving into this position, he might get spotted by the enemy at the moment because there's quite a lot of enemy tanks up there. Oh, and there's the E75 and the enemy T30. He's decided to go all in. He's got ammo racked and he's been wiped out. Oh dear. Well, that didn't appear to work, and the E75 is still alive. But I have the feeling that entilzhar was fed up with this game because of those trolls. Now, the T30s have moved away from that rock and left the M48 to it. They're now shooting from that little dip in the ground near the water in grid square B2. But this team is very definitely going to lose this game. They've only got 5 tanks left, and there are still 11 of the enemy out there. Yep, it very much looks like they're going to lose this game very, very shortly. And it's a bit of a pity, really, because it didn't need to be a loss. Now we can see the E75 there. He's losing his hit points rapidly. There's still the M53-55 still firing. And the Patton's still there for the moment. He's still got 99% of his health. And both T30s are still fighting. But it would have helped if they were actually fighting earlier on in the game, instead of acting like kids and mucking about. If they joined that STB in the south, I think they might have won this game by now. Well, that was the T10 going up. And that's our E75 dying. The M48 Pattons died. So it's now just the Arty and the 2 T30s. And unfortunately for them, they are facing rather a lot of the enemy. Yep, they're facing 10 enemy tanks. I don't see how they're possibly going to survive this one. Well, something's moving nearby because I can hear them. And there's the LRT being killed. And the Progetto's making his way to the cap. And both T30s have given away their position, and the E75 is closing in on them, and I think some of the other tanks are too as well. This game's not going to be lasting much longer. Both tanks are taking damage, masses of damage. One of them's gone, and there's the other one. So there you go. That game was lost courtesy of the T30s and that M48 Patton.